Okay guys, this is Photoshop tutorial number 1 of our Photoshop unit. I'm not sure how many Photoshop lessons that we will have, but we need this one in order to get a good foundation for the things that we need to be a good Photoshopper. The only thing is the Adobe Photoshop is very expensive per month. So instead of getting a subscription, we are going to use the free version of Photoshop, which is called Photopea. So let me just show you how to get there. So you can open up a new tab and you can find photopea.com. It looks just like this. And then if you click enter, it will take you here. Perfect. Okay, now to start this, let me just show you one thing before we get involved into our photo piece. So I posted a link to my website, which is on Google Classroom. In this website, this is where you're going to find all of the things that you need for these Photoshop/Photopea projects. So if you hover over the photography tab, you go down to editing, it will take you to all the softwares. I have this one for filters. This is an easier software. And then I have this one that we're using now. This is Photopea. So if you you can also just click on this P and it'll take you right to Photopea as well. Okay. So in this tab on my website, I have a raw image library. A raw image is just basically a photo that hasn't been edited yet. So it's important that we edit photos that don't already have a filter or don't already have edits going on. So this is where you'll be choosing your photos from to edit, to do these practice edits. But if you would like to use your own photos that are not edited, you may do that as well. Okay, so to start this first, I guess, mini project, we're going to go into Photopea and you're going to click on New Project right here in the middle. Okay, then it brings you to this menu. Don't click any of these. You're going to fill out this, your name, the width, the height, and the DPI. So your name, you're going to name this your name. So I'll just put my name and then edit, just like that. Your name, edit. Sounds easy enough. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to change the size of this. We want to make sure that this little PX right here, we switch that to IN. Then these numbers will change. The reason we want to do that is so in case we print these, we are going to, IN will make it easier to print. That's inches. PX might make it a little bit pixelated, and we don't want that. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we want to make a portrait size. So a portrait size is like the ones that are up and down. So not like this. This is landscape. We want to do portrait. So to do portrait, our width is going to be 8.5 and our height is going to be 11. So it should look like this. The DPI, this is dots per inch. This is so we don't have, it's not too blurry. So we want to make this 300. 300 is like the standard DPI. So once all of your things look just like this, you have your name, your inches is right here, 8.5, 11, 300, you are good to click create and it will come out to look like this. All right. Once we're here, we're going to go find our photo. So you're going to choose one from my website just to get the hang of this before we start using, photos from the internet. So you're going to click on the website. You're going to try to go here. So it's, again, on Google Classroom, right here, website, click, photography tab, editing. If you need help finding that, just let me know. I can send you a direct link, but seems easy enough. I think you guys can follow along. Okay, now once you're here, you're going to choose a photo that is in portrait mode. So the photos that look like this, up and down, not photos like this. These are landscape. So this one's landscape, this one's landscape. The ones on the bottom are all landscape. We will do a landscape one after we do a portrait style one, so don't worry about that. So for the portrait ones, it's these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So choose one of these. Doesn't matter which one. I guess I'll choose this one. This is pretty cool. So then you're going to right click on the photo that you want. To right click, you just, if you're using a mouse, it's just obviously you click with the right side of the mouse. If you're using your keypad on your Chromebook, you can take 2 fingers and tap, not click, just tap on like the keypad, and then this menu will pop up, and then you can click copy. So I'm going to click copy, and I'm going to go back into Photopea, and then I'm going to click edit right at the top, and then paste. And here it is. Now, it's a little bit small. So what we want to do is make this bigger. To do that, you're going to go up back to edit right here at the top, and then scroll down until you find free transform. Okay. And then these boxes will come around. You don't want to move the one in the middle. That doesn't do anything. So we're just going to try to stretch this out to fit our page. So I'm going to stretch the corner until there's no white left. That looks good. Once you have it stretched out, you can click the Enter key on your keyboard. The dots will go away and it is placed. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to add a new layer. This over here, this is your layers panel. You always have a background. That's just what Photopea does. And then every time you add something onto this page, it'll add layers. So what we want to do is we want to rename layer 1. So to do that, you can either double click right on the word layer 1, or you can right click and you can, it usually says rename. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so I guess we can just double click here. And you're going to name this photo, just like that. And if you click out, it'll stick. What we want to do next is we want to make a copy of this photo layer. We're only doing this because we want to, at the end of our editing, we want to see the difference between the 2 photos, like the before and after. So we're going to make a copy. Now to do that, you can do that 2 ways. You can, on your keyboard, you can click the control key in the corner, and then J, and it'll make a copy. Or you can right click and you can click duplicate layer. I think Control J is the easiest way. So I think you guys should definitely try to use the keyboard controls as much as possible, but you can also do it from right click. Okay, so we have photo copy. Great. So you want to make sure that photo copy is selected. It'll turn this light gray color. And then we are going to start with our edits. Now, a couple of things before we start. To zoom in, if you want to zoom in a little bit, I like to work a little bit more up close. There's a keyboard control for that. That is Control Plus. Control Plus is I think it's right next to the backspace key. Yes, it is. So if I hold down Control and then I click the plus button, I can zoom in. And if I want to zoom out, I click Control and then I click the minus button, which is right next to the plus button. So it's a good little trick for you. All right. So we're going to go up to image at the top, and then we're going to click, there's lots of things. We'll learn these, but for today, we're going to click adjustments, and we're going to work with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 options for you guys to work with today. The first one is the brightness and contrast. So if you click on that, I'm going to move this out of the way. All this does is this makes your photo more bright. So if I wanted to make this look a little brighter, I could do that, or a little bit darker, I could. So I guess whatever type of mood that you want this photo to be. So if you would like it to be a little more like spooky and, scary, I guess you could lower the brightness, or if you wanted to be a little bit more bright, you could turn it up. If you don't like it, you like it the way it is, you can leave it, but this is just a good, I guess, way to fix if your photo is too bright or too dark. I don't know what direction I want to take this in. Maybe I'll go to the lighter side. Again, you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what what these things are. Now, contrast is, I guess it's contrast highlights it highlights the highlights and shadows, if that makes sense. So the higher the contrast, then you'll have more harsh shadows and bright lights, and then the lower the contrast, it kind of makes everything, all the highlights and shadows, the same hardness, I guess. So I'm gonna try. Usually, I don't play around with contrast too much. I feel like sometimes it's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna keep it close to where I have the brightness. If you like everything that you have, you can click OK and it'll stay. If you don't like it, you can just click that X and it won't work. If you decide you like it, or maybe after you place it, you're like, I don't really like that, you can click Edit, step backward if you don't like it, and edit, step forward, can redo something. So that's a good another good trick there. All right, the next one we have are the levels. So back up to image, adjustments, levels is the second one, and it brings us with this chart here. The channel, we have it's set automatically to RGB, which is red, green, and blue. Right down here, you can just keep it there. That'll make sure that it keeps all the levels even on the photo, so you don't have to change the channel. Now these here, you can play around with these sliders, and then as you can see, it'll change. It will change the quality of your photo. So every photo, if you guys are going to choose different photos, is going to be different. So I can't tell you exactly what it's going to do to your photo, but you can move these around as you wish and see what you like. This is just practice again, so it's up to you. Let's see. That looks good. Once you find what you like, you can click OK. There you go. All right. The next one we are going to work on is curves. Again, image, adjustments, curves is the third one. I'm going to move this guy over. For curves, what you want to do is you want to click 3 times. So you want to click on these intersecting points. So I have one click here, one click here, and one click here. This is just a good rule of thumb. This is usually what a lot of photographers do. This is how your home base for dealing with curves. Now this again will make your shadows go, super harsh or super light. I don't know if you can't really tell too much on this one. It's kind of a dark photo, but if I move it up, I get more of a bright light. Let's see if I move this one down. This is where all the shadows are, so it's a little bit more dramatic if I move it down. I kind of like that. What do we think? I guess I'll keep it like this. And then this middle one, I usually keep it in the center, but if you want to play around with it, then you go for it. Again, up to you. So once you like what you have, you can click OK, and there you go. All right, the next one on our list is exposure, which is back to image, adjustments, exposure. This again is how much light is going to be in your highlights. So this one can get a little bit dangerous if you use too much. So if I use a lot of exposure, it's really going to alter this photo. So I don't love putting too much exposure. I guess this one's better if you take a photo that's in some super bright sunlight, like on the beach or something, and you want to make sure that it's not as bright. You could lower your exposure, but generally I don't see too much of a need for these. So I'm not going to play around with mine, but if you would like to play around with it a little bit, you can. That's what that looks like. And there you go. So if you like it, you click OK. If you don't like it, just click out this X here, and you don't need to keep it. All right. The next one I'm going to show you is vibrance. So back to image, adjustments. Vibrance is down here. And this just kind of plays around with the colors. It makes the colors a little bit more bright. I don't know if it's really working on this photo too much. I guess it's a little bit too dark. The saturation is working a little bit with the lights, and if you bring it all the way down, it makes it black and white. So I'm going to put my saturation all the way up because I like those street lights. Yeah, the vibrance on this one's not working too much, but that's okay. Once you like what you have, you can click OK, or you can just click X and it won't keep them. All right, what's the next? We have 3 more. Back up to image, adjustments, hue and saturation. This one again deals with your color. You're going to keep the range on master. We don't need to do all these individual ones. The hue will change the color, I guess, the color scheme of your photo. So if you wanted to make it look a little bit different, then that's up to you. Saturation will make the colors a little bit brighter or darker. Or if you go down this way, it'll make it a more black and white feeling. I kind of liked it as it was. And lightness, obviously letting more light in or out of the scene. All right, move this back to 0. Okay, so once you're finished with this, you click OK. And then we have color balance, which again, image, adjustments, color balance. I don't know why they put these boxes right on top. You can keep the range at shadows. You can keep it to midtones. You can go to highlights. Doesn't really matter. Whichever one, I guess, suits your photo best. So for me, I would say it has more shadows. A brighter photo, maybe you could go in the highlights, midtones. You're kind of touching on both. So I'll start here. This plays with, this is how much red you would like to be in your scene. And you can kind of see, like, as I pull this down, like in his jacket especially, like the red, when you pull up the red, it makes it look more of like a, I don't know, like just like a movie scene. I can't explain it. Green, I don't think I have too much green in this photo. Yeah, I don't really. So I'll leave it as it is. Blue, there are lots of blues in this photo, so obviously bringing up the blue will tint the color of the photo more blue. I don't know how I feel about this. Excuse my dog. All right, I'll leave it there. And again, if you want to play with shadows, it will reset. So it'll keep my midtones. If I go into shadows, it'll just, you kind of start at the beginning again. And then how much red do I want in my shadows? How much green? How much blue? And then if you want to do highlights, it'll do the same thing with those. So my highlights, if I want to change him, I don't know what I think about this. I feel like if I make him on the red side, it's like a spooky movie. Greens, nah. Blue. I mean, this blue is super duper bright. So there you go. So then once you're done with all 3, you can click OK. And then I believe this is the last one. I don't know if this is posterize or posterize. I'm not really sure, but I'll leave that up to you. So if you go to image adjustments, it's kind of close to the bottom. It's right here. Posterize? I'll have to look that up. This one's optional, obviously. I just wanted to show you, like, you could, if you wanted to make it look more like I guess a painting or something. If you bring it all the way up, it's your photo is normal, but like the more you bring it down, it, I guess, erases like details and it makes it look a little bit more like you can see it kind of gives it, I don't know, a cartoony vibe. I'm not really sure, but I just thought maybe you guys would be interested. So I'm just gonna let you play around with that. If you don't like it, just click out of it. You don't have to use it, but I'll keep it here just for this purpose. Okay, so those are all of the basic Photoshop photo like adjustments, I guess you could say. So it's good that we learn these first because these are kind of like a home base for us. We'll learn about all this stuff in another one. We'll learn about changing things and moving things. If, I wanted to move his lightsaber thing or change the color of it. But for now, this is a good start for us. Now, before we save this, I just wanted to show you. So remember how we made 2 layers here. We have photocopy and photo. We were working on photocopy. Now, if I click the eyeball on photocopy, it will show me what it looked like before. So before and then after. So I think it's pretty cool how changing some of the colors can change like entirely change the photo. So this looks just like, this guy's standing in the rain or something with his lightsaber, but this one, I feel like this could be like in a superhero movie or something. So it's just interesting to see. So when you're finished, just make sure we're going to save this so we can submit it. You click File, and then we're going to go to Export As right here, and then JPG. And then for some reason it zooms in super far. I don't know why it does this. You can zoom out if you want. You don't have to. All this stuff, just leave it. Click Save, and it should save. Mine's going to save right here in my photography, recent files, and there we go. So when I go into Google Classroom, I'm going to submit it into the assignment. And then what you're going to do next is you are going to do the same exact thing, but you are going to use one of the landscape photos. Now the landscape photos here, the measurements are a little bit different. So I will start you off with the measurements. So if I go into, let me just refresh this. So if I click New Project, Karate Edit 2, let's say. You're going to change this PX to IN. And all we're going to do is swap the original width and height that we had. So originally we had 8.5 by 11. So now all we're doing is 11 by 8.5. And that will change it to landscape. And our DPI will be 300. So once you have all of these, click Create, and there you go. So you're just going to find one of the landscape pictures to do. Instead of me going through this all again, you can go ahead and rewind this video to the beginning to see how you can copy and paste this photo and add some of the adjustments that we went over. Once you're done, you're going to submit both of your photos into the assignment that I will post, and then we can move on to the next one. So if you have any questions, of course, just let me know. Feel free to pause the video or rewind as you need to, and I can't wait to see what they all look like.